walk that I'm blessed. See the love of God in my flex, I'm so blessed. 20K just on my chain, say less. I text every day to get dressed, so blessed. Been through the storm and the rain, still blessed. Had a couple heartaches and pain, still blessed. Handle the pressure from fame, still blessed. Just God called my name, so blessed.
Yes, sir, I'm blessed, don't play boy, cause I got it mad. Tailor made just for this fit, I'm gon' cut the slack. I'm the man, good hearted shorty with me acting bad. Shout out to mans that done tightened up since they became a dad. Shout out to me.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cobain Report. I am Rock Cobain. Tramell is not here. Caesar's not here. This is our season finale, and I have two very special guests to sit in with me today. I have to the left of me my grandfather, Billy Davis, rock star, historian in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, has played with Hank Ballard, Isley Brothers, Jimi Hendrix, I think James Brown, Sam Cooke. The list goes on and on. The rock star, Billy Davis, is in the building. And to the right of me, I have Bishop, extraordinaire, entrepreneur, relationship coach, father, man of God, human, my dad, Bishop Greg. It's so many accolades I could give him, but I'm not going through this list with these two are the hardest working people I know, okay? The list would go on forever. My dad is in the building. Y'all make some noise for my grandfather and my father in the building.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Glad you're here. So today, I just wanted to, this is going to be my Father's Day episode, so I felt like I wanted to bring in, where I come from. You're looking at 3 generations of hard workers, entertainers, in our own right. You have variations of that. You have a pastor, that's come through that, as well as, an entertainer. So I'm going to start with my granddad. I just want to talk a little bit about just life, man. Just have a good conversation with you like we sitting on the table at my home. So I don't have a whole bunch of scripts for you, but I just want you to tell me a little bit about what you got. What got you into music, granddad?
Oh, riding in a taxi cab with my mother around 1947.
Yeah.
47, 48, and there was a record playing on the radio in the car, and we in the taxi, we were in the cab. And the song was sung by a guy named Arthur Big Boy Crudup. And that melody just got in me, and it just made me want to play music, That's where it began.
At that time, were you playing guitar yet?
No, I didn't. I had never seen the guitar in real life, But I heard that sound, and I wanted to, I was looking forward to getting my hands on one, which I didn't get my hand on until about 1951, 52.
So all that time, the music was just stirring in you?
Yeah, I was just there, and one day I'm on my way home, and I saw a blind guy sitting on the porch playing the guitar, and that did it. I stopped there and asked him would he show me how to play, So that's where it started. That was in 1954.
That one song did it all for you and sparked this whole career.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, give me some of your I guess some of your best people that you feel like you've worked with over the years. Like, tell me the story of just Hank and Harry and Ballard and all of that. Take me down memory lane.
Well, I would say that would be Hank Ballard, because I got with him, and the friendship started in 1959, and it went on until 1988. That's when I left the group. But that's where I made my mark in music with him, doing Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and all that stuff, Yeah. And in 1960, we became the number one vocal group in the world, in 1960.
That's crazy. So you've been doing music since 1960,
yeah,
for real.
And we become the only group in history, the first group in history to have 3 records in the top 40 all at the same time. After we did it, the Beatles came along. They did it, and people like Supremes, but we were the first to do it.
First to do it. Yeah. Tell me about your experience with Jimi Hendrix.
Well, we was playing in Seattle, Washington, at a place called the Eagle Auditorium, and the show was sold out. So what they did, they had everybody to leave, and they letting the other people come in. And our trumpet player was walking around the audience, and kid went to him and told him, I want to meet the guitar player, you know. Mm-hmm. So he came and told me, he said, Billy, this guy out here want to meet you, you know. I said, man, I ain't got time to meet no guy. Look at all these women in there. I'm trying to find a girl. You know?
That sounds like somebody I know.
Yeah.
Get it naturally.
Yeah, and then he went back and told him, said, well, he ain't got time, you know. But he kept bugging him, you know, so he came back the second time and was asking. I said, man, what I just told you? You know, the third time he come back, he was cursing. He was using all kind of profanity. And said, man, come and say something. He's getting on my nerve, you know. So I said, okay. Eventually, I said, okay. So I went and met him, and he seemed such a nice person. I really took to him, you know. And I told him, I said, man, come on in, you know. And I kept him with me through the whole show, you know. Mm-hmm. And I was in Seattle for the whole week. And I used to go, he invited me to come by his house, so I go there and spend some time with him, you know, showing him stuff on the guitar, you know, and that's where it began, and you know. And I remember years later, I ran across James Brown. James Brown hadn't seen me in some years, and he said, "Man, Billy," he said, "how come you ain't crazy?" I said, James, I said, what are you talking about? He said, man, how have you kept your sanity? You know, I said, what do you mean? You know, he said, man, Jimi Hendrix stole your style and made all that money and up something. You ain't got nothing, you know. I said,
Friends, how many of us have them, right?
Right. I said, well, I didn't consider him stealing, James. I said, he just liked my style, you know. Mm-hmm. But I never thought, you know, to say they would stole it, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's where it began, and that friendship lasted up until he passed away, you know.
How old were you when you started in the music business? How old were you when you started in the music business?
Oh, 16.
16?
Yeah.
So from 16 to now, you've been working in the business.
Yeah.
So tell me a story about how this guy over here was created. You know? Talk to me about that, because from 16 into him was a couple years, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about this guy over here.
Well, that started in 1962, you know. Mm-hmm. 1962.
He's established in 62.
And, well, I didn't know at first, you know, because, you know, like his mom, you know, she told me, you know, that we'd had a child, you know.
Yeah.
But I hadn't saw him, you know, then... But his mother, his grandmother on that side, she used to call me and was telling me, and then she the one introduced me to him on the phone, because she put him on the phone, you know. Mm-hmm. And she said, yeah, this is your son, you know. And I said, oh, you know, but I hadn't saw him though, you know. Mm-hmm. And that went on for a while. Then Esther, his mother, finally, she told me, she said, see, I'm going to show you that he is your son. You got a son, you know. Mm-hmm. I said, what you mean? She said, well, I'm coming out there. I'm going to bring him out there with me. And she said, tell me a place, a hotel to stay or something like that, you know. And I told her there was a hotel on Jefferson called the Shorecrest. Mm-hmm. I think it's still there, but it's probably a different name. Mm-hmm. And that's when I first, you know, when she got there, she called and told me where she was at. So I went there. And that's when I saw him, you know.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't deny that one. Couldn't deny that one for nothing in the world.
And immediately I knew. I said, well,
yeah, for sure.
You know, yeah, right. And, you know.
No, that's one thing you cannot deny, man. Your genes go far. All the kids and grandkids and everybody else, you know, we all kind of favor and we all got that same.
Yeah, and I spent the rest of that day, and like I said, man, I never will forget the first walk I had with him. We and him walked down by the river, because the Shorecrest is near too far from there. We walked down, you know, talking, you know. That's where it began.
Yeah. So 16, you on the road, you traveling, you doing your thing, and then you find out that you have a child.
Right.
And what happens then?
Oh, wow. There's quite a few, because like I said, I was kind of wild at that time, you know, but
I think y'all all were back in them days, right?
Yeah.
Those was the 60s and 70s and rock stars for real back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as I think back, like I said, just a whole lot of things I would change if I could had a chance to do it all over again, But I was just young and didn't really.
Yeah. I think we all sometimes make decisions that we wish that we could change when we're younger as men and trying to figure out life, and trying to figure out parenthood or fatherhood.
Right.
None of us are perfect. We've all made some bad decisions, including myself, So that brings me to your time, Mr. 1962 established. Talk to me about...
I just want to know how old I was.
Talk to me.
How old was I when because I think I remember that. How old was I when I came to Detroit?
Oh, you hadn't even started school then. You were real young.
I think I remember that. Did y'all leave? Did I meet Daddy and them?
Yeah.
And y'all left me there that night, and I cried all night.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that was the first night.
Sure did.
I remember that.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah, because me and Esther was hanging out, and
Yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your experience from just the whole situation with having him being on the road, or tell me about your experience about it on your side of it.
Well, I remember that. I remember us sharing in New York, and then the part I remember the most was the summer. I might have been 7 or 8, and I met my sister, Joanne. Joanne came to, you were in Queens?
In Bronx.
Bronx, you were in the Bronx. And we spent some time together during the summertime. That's one of the fondest memories that I have is spending time with her and meeting her. And again, I knew it was my sister because we looked alike. And actually, Micah looks like spitting image of her.
Sure do.
Twin, like complexion, everything. So that's the memory. And then I remember when he came to my mother and asked my mother about me leaving. That was 71. Yeah, 1971. And that saved my life because, my mother was on a spiral down. My stepfather, which common law, Sam and Dave, my mother liked rock stars.
She apparently did.
Oh no, No. Sam of Sam and Dave. I remember. You want a roaring cut, right?
I
remember dropping cocaine off for one of I believe the Temptations or one of them guys. She loves stars.
Fast Life?
Oh yeah.
She was a beautiful woman though.
James Brown, you name it. She had a cut above her eye where he hit her with an umbrella. She loved, yeah.
She was beautiful.
I was the third child though.
You was the third child?
By her.
I never knew that.
I don't know how many by him though.
we gonna get down that road in a minute, Granddaddy.
I was her third child. She got rid of the other two.
Okay.
She pulled them out with a clothes hanger.
I never knew that.
Mm-hmm. She told me when she get mad at me, she'd say, "You MF, I didn't want you anyway. I tried to pull you out, but you was too stubborn." Lo and behold,
look at the gift.
We know why.
Yeah, she told me that too.
She told you that too, yeah.
That she tried, but nothing never worked.
Mm-hmm. But the other two, it worked.
Right.
That makes sense though. He's stubborn. That's about right. That's about right.
That's called purpose. I was supposed to be here.
He's stubborn. He gonna get here for sure. He one of them ones for sure.
Right.
That makes sense.
All my life I had to fight.
That makes sense, Pops.
I'm still
swear.
fighting.
No, that makes so much sense. Okay, so from your aspect, right, with bringing him here, what was your thought process behind it? Like, I know what he said on his side, but I want to hear your side. What made you think that was the best thing for your son at 7 years old or 8 years old?
Well, I didn't like the environment, like the environment in that he was coming up around, mm-hmm. And I knew that could have been very detrimental, and I wanted to get him away from that, because I was very proud to have a son, mm-hmm. that was one of the most proudest moments of my life. Mm-hmm. I have a son, mm-hmm. And But I didn't like the the environment was in. It wasn't right, and I just wanted to see what I could do to get him away from that, and I did. We did succeed in doing it,
And I was surprised that she even went for it. But the circumstance, I think they had got evicted by then. Had they been evicted?
No, not at that time.
They hadn't been evicted yet. So then it was some time then because we got evicted. I remember being there when the marshals came, and I wasn't going to school. Never going to school. The truant officers, I thought they was my best friends. He didn't come to school. And so we got evicted, and then Sam met somebody else and ended up leaving my mother. We moved. We might have been living in a hotel then. I don't quite remember, but I do remember that we got evicted, and it started got worse. Yeah,
so what I hear though, the crazy part is, even though he knows that he wasn't like there, kind of absent, he still had the mind to think like, I want my son out of that crazy situation.
Oh yeah. That's why when my grandfather passed, I made sure to say thank you to him while I was doing the eulogy, because if it wasn't for that, I say it all the time in my testimony. If it wasn't for him, he brought me into the world twice.
For real.
Yeah.
Oh, for real.
Birth and then rebirth, because I'd be dead. But God had a greater purpose,
for sure,
and used him for that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, even getting me to my grandparents.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you was doing stuff, running cocaine to the Temptations and all that. You had to get up out of there, because I could not imagine.
And I had a friend named Terry. I don't know if he remembered Terry. Terry was our neighbor. He was out there, and so I had people laugh when I say this, but since we've been uncut, I had sex at 8 years old.
He probably did too.
I remember her name.
He down there from Willacoochee, Georgia.
Her name was Maria. She was a Mexican girl.
Go ahead, start off Mexican. Go ahead. Start off.
And I
Mexican.
had a job. I was working across the street at the delicatessen for a black man by the name of Oliver. I always had hustle. Yeah, always had him. And it was not. You need to understand. I was working for a black man. In 68, 69, he owned a delicatessen.
And that's something.
In those, man. In those days, in Manhattan. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the money. Yeah. So tell me about it now. So here we are. You've dropped him off to his grandparents.
No, I was there too.
You were there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were there too. So how did that experience feel, or what was the next steps, I would say? Because were you prepared to become a full-time father? Probably is the appropriate question for this. Like, were you in a mental space to really take on what you had just taken on, though? You didn't know the kid for real. I mean, sorry, Dad, I love you, but you didn't know him for real. You know what I mean? 7, 8 years, you kind of just brought him around. Were you in a mental, like, were you really prepared for that, Granddaddy? Honestly.
I thought I were, and I didn't feel like I was stabilized enough, like I said, because I didn't have anything really solid, so, and that kind of bothered me, because I really didn't, during that time,
But see, the thing about when you're chasing your dreams, sometimes you're not really gonna be stable all the time, And I'm finding that out now, that I'm chasing a dream. Things aren't always stable. So, I guess having a child in that situation couldn't have been the most comfortable for you either, right? Mentally and all of that.
Yeah, but see, be honestly speaking, now me and his mother had talked about getting married. She came out here, and me and her and my cousin Ruthie, we spent a lot of time together. But anyway, that I had proposed to get married with her, and so we celebrated a whole week because she stayed out here for a week, then went back to New York. And we supposed to come to get everything finalized, and everything. So I came up and spent a night together. The next morning I woke up And she was gone. I said, God, dog, where in the world was she get, Anyway, she had left me a note. And she had flew back to Atlanta to be with Edward Patton. Edward Patton was one of the Pips, Gladys Knight and the Pips. And
Y'all just be rotating women in them circles.
Got dumped by one of the Pips.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Got ghosted by one of the Pips.
Yeah.
Was that the short one?
Yeah.
It was the short
one.
That's what I thought.
Edward Patton, right, yeah.
Jesus Christ, granddaddy.
Anyway, that messed that up. So
Chasing waterfalls.
I didn't know what to do.
Hear that, Ray?
No, that's crazy. So, all right, talk me about.
But one of the biggest moments that really would stand out a lot between like me and you, when they had the moon landing, you wanted to see that, and I spent the whole day with me and you watching that. Do you remember that?
No, where was that at?
When they landed on the moon.
I'm saying, where was we at?
We was in the at this time we was in the
We was in New York?
in I think it was the Sirearms.
In New York?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you wanted so bad to see the moon landing, so we went. We had food, and we spent the whole day just watching me and you watching TV.
Wow.
They landed on the moon.
No, I don't remember. Wow. I remember certain stuff. Yeah, no, I didn't remember that. Okay.
So
that was around that time too.
You traveling and doing so much, granddaddy. When you said that you regret certain things, right? You probably wouldn't change it though, because I mean, you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, man. Like, you know what I mean? What would you change, right? I mean, think about it. We all dreamers. We are all people who are chasing and pursuing dreams, right?
Well, my dream was to. I think I was the biggest thing to look forward to is finding someone to love and that you care about, having a child, settling down. Mm-hmm. That was my biggest ambition to do is to have someone get married, have a kid. But see, I had the kid, but my other thing didn't work out.
So do you think that you just kept trying to go after that specific model? That's why you think you probably tried over and over, and you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And but it never did really happen like I thought it would. That I wanted it to,
You're not the only person. I've been through that before. I feel like, I mean, if we being honest, I got, kids and ex-wives and all kind of stuff, and I've always chased that, whether it was good or bad. I've always chased that because that's what I saw growing up from my dad and my stepmom, so I always chased because I knew it was out there. It's just finding it. But it's so hard to find, it's so hard to have a stable relationship sometimes. And, I always say I leave trails of brokenness, and I hate to say it like that, but it's like, a broken family here, broken family there, broken family there. It's just trails of brokenness, So you're not the only one that's going through it, that might be the curse of our.
but it's in the bloodline. I mean, when you listen to his story and then you listen to my story, you listen to him wanting to be. I don't think every man just don't want to be a good father. Because when you heard him say, "I wanted to," he lived there, but it's those dreams, chasing those. This was bothering me.
And I told.
I was about to ask Ray on camera.
I told you earlier.
Did we switch the
I
table
said
around or something?
earlier. I said he gonna freak out about this table before you got here.
Yes, sir. Because I've been looking at it. I'm like, how can I do this?
I know you too well, Doc.
Anyway, no, but when I listen to him, then I'm sure as you listen to him, you understand more about us, not knowing cognitively of, but I didn't just want to be on the road. I was on the road in a different way.
That's
preaching,
the crazy thing.
Preaching 200 and something dates a year.
Same story. Different vibes.
Yeah.
He was on the road 200, 300. This man still work. I got 3 dates right here waiting to announce them for him. He's still working.
Yeah, I'm still be working too.
He'll be 86.
Yeah, I get it.
Still working.
But you see where it come from though. I mean, even when you talk about my grandmother, when you talk about mama, she worked till the last. She was working 2 jobs.
Right,
You remember that?
right,
She was working at the Davis Stock Building, working for Mr. Drummond. Not because she had to. No. She just didn't want that old man. I don't want that old man to have to give me no money. I want my own money.
Walking slow. I want my own money. Yeah, that's for sure.
And I mean, it's in us. Mm-hmm. It's in us, you know. And it's not all good. We're not sitting there making excuses. It's not, because then you got to figure out, it probably too late to stop it in your sons.
Well, I have worked, I've tried to do the work necessary to make different decisions and use, people as a playbook, but life is real. Life is real. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the point of this show is to show the audience that we are having transparent conversations about 3 different generations of fatherhood here. It's not easy. It's not, but you have to fight and go through. What we're doing right now is doing the work.
Yeah.
This is what's called doing the work.
Can I, let me just, because I don't want to take
it. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
The only difference, I think, and this is real transparent, I didn't care though. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I don't know if that's, I didn't really care. Mm-hmm. Even though I had my grandparents, mm-hmm. they made up, but I was self-starter. My grandfather always would say, you probably heard him say, I never had to wake this boy up. Mm-hmm. He always went to school. I loved school. Mm-hmm. I'm a self-motivated. So I didn't really care. Mm-hmm. I didn't. That was still my father, but I really didn't care whether I just didn't. Maybe I was masking the feelings, but I didn't. You all, this generation,
we cared.
Y'all care.
Mm-hmm. We do, and I think we're getting more in tune with, and it might be like we were saying the other day on your show, how men are starting to become more in tune with their emotions and sassy, quote unquote, and all that kind of stuff. Right?
And I might have got it from my mama. She was stubborn and didn't. I mean, I don't know, but I really.
But so let me ask you this then: do you think that because you knew he was there, he just wasn't wherever he wanted to be? Is that why you were able to kind of?
I never thought about it. I mean, I wish I could lie and say that I was traumatic, and I wasn't, because I always saw it as exactly what I've said, and that is, he did what he was supposed to do in my life, and he did the greatest thing. Mm-hmm. He could have gave me bikes and been there every time,
but that wouldn't have got you here.
That wouldn't have got me here.
Yeah, for sure.
This was the plan for my life. Mm-hmm. And why spend the rest of my life being sour about it? Because he brought me here even when she tried to kill me. Mm-hmm. And then he turned around and saved my life again. So he played his part. And I'm going to say this publicly. I don't ever want you to feel bad, because you look. It's the evidence. I mean, I ain't been able to, because you ain't been able to get that marriage thing together, but
none of us can figure.
But hey, you can't have it all. Even after getting my grandparents, was they married 60-something years?
Man, yeah.
67,
66 years.
66 years, almost 67. We was in the 50th when I was you had just got married almost when they did the 50th, I think.
Right.
Yeah. You was married. Because Tiny was in it. Yeah. So I'm saying, those of you that are watching, that's not my story. Mm-hmm. Although, and maybe it helps Greg to understand more why I'm the way I am. But I have nothing. Mm-hmm. I never sat and thought about it. Mm-hmm. I never sat and was like, oh, poor little me. Mm-hmm. And maybe because I had my grandparents too. Mm-hmm. They made up for that, But again, if it wasn't for him.
No, you wouldn't even have him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I have no regrets at all. Mm-hmm. And then we got to do the self-work ourselves. Mm-hmm. No matter, I could have went another way.
No, for sure.
I grew up on Mac.
For sure you could.
In case y'all watching, on the east side of Detroit, it could have went another way.
No, for sure.
I could have been out in them streets, but I latched a hold of my grandfather as soon as I got there. And every time the car left for church, I
was
left.
in that thing.
It skipped over him to me. You know?
Yeah, because you became what he wanted me to be.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
But it just wasn't.
Absolutely.
I think I understand a little bit on that side. I'm trying to get my life.
Yeah, but I don't have those expectations.
No.
But my grandfather, I'm sure back in that day, they wanted their son. And so I became what he wanted,
Right.
what my grandfather wanted. You know, it wasn't until my grandfather passed, what's his best friend name?
Deacon Johnson.
No, the old man that would go over his house and eat. Skinny. Oh, I can't think of his name. He was a deacon too, but not at Welcome. Anyway, he finally told me, he said, man, your grandfather was so proud of you. You know, them old guys didn't say that they was proud. He said he talked about you all the time. You know, so
I noticed that myself. That was very true. He was super proud of you.
yeah,
You become, you know.
yeah.
But see, but I had the same opportunity, but it just wasn't me, you know. And he made him happy, boy.
So let me ask you something, Granddaddy. Are you proud of him?
Of course.
Oh, he's told me.
Yeah,
He's told me.
Yeah.
Very much so. Very much so. Right.
Yeah, he has done that. He's
All the
told me.
things and all the things that you've watched and been able to watch your son.
Because coming up as a young man, I wanted a son, and I got a son. It happened, but like I said, it didn't end up like I wanted it to. But I had a son, you know.
Yeah. And in many ways, I mean, like you guys mimic each other so much. You know, I've had the joy of having individual relationships with both of you guys in my own way. You know, I was a time of period where I needed to come and stay with you, and I was able to, you know, really learn and know you for myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you hear a lot of stuff over the years, and you're like, yeah, but I don't really know him. He always been on the road my whole life. But until I was able to actually come and stay there with you and figure out, like, no, this man really cool. Like, he really been through a lot of stuff. It's a ton of stories, you know, and I became proud of you as a person, like, outside of being my grandfather, right? It was like, oh, you really did all of this. Oh, you really did all of that. You know, and when you learn the stories and you hear me, like, no, I kind of see, you know, the sacrifices he made, and, like, I kind of get it. You know, did it come down to me a little bit? Maybe so. You know, I got a little bit of, you know, from Pops, you know, just the things, but I wouldn't really change either of your stories because I'm proud to be from the stock that both of you come from. I'm proud to be into music and into the things that I'm into, eccentric, you know, all the things that he's kind of not, you know, I am because of you. I got rhythm. I play drums. I do everything. My daddy we don't do rhythm. We don't.
That came from my mama's side.
We don't do rhythm.
That came from my mama's
You know
side.
what I'm saying? So, like, but I've also been able to gain the things from my father. You know, entrepreneur. I'm very proud of the accomplishments that my dad has done, but I'm also equally as proud of you as being my grandfather. I have both great, strong lineage like comes through. And Papa, we're not even gonna go there. You know, that's a whole nother thing, you know, because everything he was able to bring to the table. And I mean, both of you guys are residual effects of his life regardless.
Yeah, he brought me stability.
Yeah.
I needed that stability, and he knew I needed that stability. Mission accomplished because him and Mama gave me stability because I didn't have that. I was left at home many nights while my mom was out in the streets and
Macaroni and cheese box.
in the box.
In the box.
In the box, yeah. So they gave me the stability. They gave me. I had to start school a grade behind because I never went to school. Only time I went to school, you remember, she sent me to Cleveland with her friend, and her friend was a principal.
Right.
And I went, and that only lasted a semester, but that's the only schooling that I remember. And even after being put behind a grade, I still graduated with 3.8 average. Yeah. Yep.
So talk to me. So after you end up, you know, traveling and going out for a while, you know, and you had my dad and you didn't, you know, whatever happened with that. Talk to me about that next phase of life. I think you got married and had a couple kids. And
Oh yeah. I had got married in 1979.
okay.
Yeah. But that lasted. But it was it's kind of it was a marriage really that shouldn't have never taken place.
Wait.
Oh, this honestly speaking, it shouldn't have because and it didn't last long. It wasn't happy either. For 2-3 years it was okay, but after that was chaos, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah. So you went back to focusing on music after that?
yeah.
You went back to that was your main squeeze again.
Yeah, sure was.
You had a couple kids in that situation, though, right?
Right.
My uncles.
Yeah.
Shout out Terry and Derek. I don't know why he ain't calling your name. I'm gonna say it. Shout out to my uncles, man. Yeah. And then so from there, you've been focusing on music the whole way, huh?
Yeah, that's about it.
That's it.
Basically, yeah.
So who's your favorite person that you've worked with?
Hank Ballard, he had to be because I spent with 30 years. Our friendship lasted from 1959 to 1988.
Sam Cooke, all these people, and Hank that's the one. That's your favorite one.
Right. But it's working, because Sam was a friend, and we were very close, friendship wise, But Hank Ballard and I had a different type of friendship. It was basically music, We had the same taste for music,
Weren't you on a documentary or something about Sam Cooke? Or I saw some on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
How did they go filming that? How did you like filming that?
It was okay, but it's a lot of stuff I couldn't talk about, and it was good, but there's certain things I couldn't, because he had a very horrific life in the end,
Yeah.
But I couldn't talk about that, So.
Yeah. Ain't there something else going on that they working on right now that you're a part of a production on?
Jackie Wilson.
Wilson?
He was I worked with him we had practically grew up together, And so he's started his daughter. She's doing a reconstruction of his life and his career, stuff like that.
You gonna be a part of that as well?
Yeah, well, I had a lot of insight into him as a person because I knew him very much better than she did because she didn't grow up around him,
Mm-hmm.
But him and I became into each other's life in the 50s.
Yeah, I remember seeing those pictures growing up in the house of Jackie and all those people. And I used to be like, man, what is all of this stuff everywhere around this house? What is this stuff? When I got older, I'm like, oh, that's an award. That's what that thing is. Oh, that's a newspaper clipping. Oh, I didn't even realize like you were, I'm not going to say as famous, but I didn't realize like you were as accomplished as you are as a musician until I think I was probably in my late 20s. When we really just sat down and started talking about everything, and I'm like, this man has been everywhere with everybody doing, everything. So if nothing else, man, I'm grateful for the life and the career that you have. What do you think your number one accomplishment has been other than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with music?
I would say that is it. The Rock and Roll, yeah. Because I'm in the two other ones too, Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame and the Doo-Wop Hall of Fame. So.
Yeah, you are in that Doo-Wop Hall of Fame.
I'm one of the few people that's in all three of them, So.
Yeah, definitely on Google. What about you, Bishop?
What's the question?
So
my most.
Yeah, tell me about what you would think other than, I would say, being a parent of me. What's your name? And Micah, say no. They gonna hate that one. What's your biggest accomplishment, Pops, that you think? So far, because we got a lot to go.
Probably my television career. I mean, I did that for 16 years. Yeah. Consistently. And who does television for that long? So probably 16 years. When I think about it, I always say my grandfather preached to 200-300 people every Sunday, which was a great accomplishment in the 70s and 80s.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother story. But in one setting, I'm talking to millions of people, potential of 80 million people, 200 countries. That probably was the greatest to do that consistently and establish my own shows and all the stuff that I did with the different networks. I was on every Christian network You were. And so helped start one, Impact, helped start that network, which is all over the place now. And was on the largest. So I would say that.
TV career. It's crazy because that, even though you're the Reverend, and we know you for being preaching and all that, you've branched out and diversified your career so much. You know, we don't forget about the TV side, I don't think, but...
Yeah, don't nobody talk about that too much.
16 years is crazy. That's almost...
Yeah, 16 years. 16 years exactly. Yeah. I left 2023 of November. I stopped, walked away from it because the passion was gone. And when the passion is gone, So, of course, now it's groundbreaking studios.
Yeah, and it's the passion for sure.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because it's still in the entertainment business. That's the funny part.
Still the same. It is.
It's even though
it is.
Y'all so much alike.
It's still the entertainment business. It's in my blood. It's in my blood from both sides.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. So I'm not gonna hold y'all too long. You know, I'm gonna get it. I had to get this interview. This is my season finale, and I could not end this without having my grandfather and my dad. You know.
Well, let me say this: we're proud of you. I mean, you sitting here asking us questions. You sitting here, yeah. I mean, we're on your podcast, and so we're proud of you, and you're carrying on the mantle of both of us in the entertainment business, and this is only the beginning. So,
thank you, Pops.
You've had it rough. You still got 2 degrees, and went back to school. I often say, and I don't know if he remember this. You quit in the 12th grade.
Right.
My auntie, Joanna, that's all she would talk about. How could he get to the 12th grade and quit? How could he get to the 12th grade and quit? Blah, blah. I ain't gonna do it.
Big little sister.
She got to the 12th grade. She quit. What was it, 12A and 12B, whatever the last she was on, the last part, she quit. So I broke that cycle by finishing high school. Tried to go to college, it just wasn't my thing. I didn't like sitting there and didn't have no discipline. You know, you just go and sit there. I need somebody to
for sure.
down. And so then you came, you and Micah, you know, broke that whole piece. And you've been through difficulty and came back and still did it. So we're proud of you.
Thank you, Pops.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often
you don't look like what you've been through.
No, I often refer to this letter that my granddaddy wrote me, right?
What'd he do?
In my mind, this
I
letter.
Told you, tell it.
This is the infamous letter, right?
It.
So my I was not on my P's and Q's back then. My money wasn't right. I wasn't nothing. You know,
What'd he do?
I was figuring it out. So I was staying with my granddad, and I was just a regular knucklehead. Girls coming in the house, all kind of stuff, just everything. He was like, oh, yeah, I'm writing you a letter. You got to be gone by October. I was gone by August. But what that did was motivated me to go and restart my life. It's because of this man I went to college. Well, finished college. Because I didn't ever want to be in that situation again. I told him, I said, I'd never be back. And I have never been back. I've been to visit. I done brought his granddaughter to see him and all kind of stuff, but I have not been back. You know, it motivated me. And I still love him to this day. I still call him, still check on him every couple months. I call my granddaddy all the time because I love him genuinely. Because that, even though it was a tough love, it was an act of love at the same time. Because it said, bro, you got to sink or swim at this point. And I did. You know, I'm still going through it, granddaddy, still figuring it out. Yeah. But I'm so grateful for you in more ways than one. You know, I deal with him every day, and I talk to him all the time about my granddaddy because I love you so much. You know, you mean a lot to me.
I feel the same way about you.
Yeah,
you know
you mean a lot to me. Yeah. When you know, everything ain't always gonna be perfect. Everything is not always perfect. But one thing I know is that we family. You know, we gonna stick it out. Right. And I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of who you are. I'm proud of my dad, of course, you know. So I wanted to do this show. Nothing else. My granddaddy will be 86 years old. 86. He don't look like he don't, you know what I mean? April 13th, he'll be working at the Madison Bar, 9 to 12, 32275 Stevenson Highway, Madison Heights. April 27th, 2024, he'll be at Nancy Whiskey's, 8:30 to 12:30, 2644 Harrison Street, Detroit. May 25th, 2024, 8 to 10:30. He'll be at Aretha's Jazz Cafe. Go on, Granddaddy. Whoop, whoop. Back at the music hall again. So he's still working, y'all. He's still working. If you want to see him, pop out to any of these events. His 86th birthday celebration will be April 27th. I will be there. I'm going to leave the podcast. I'm going straight over so y'all can meet me there. I'm going to try to drag my daddy, but you know how you be.
Now, all of this, and I want to tell you something that's going to probably shock you.
What?
My greatest desire is to live in the submission to the will of God. That is my number one ambition to achieve before I leave this earth. And I'm going to do it.
I've never heard you say that, Granddad.
That's true. That's my greatest ambition, right?
And
I want to live in total submission to the will of the Creator.
It's crazy. I remember years when people were like, your granddaddy don't believe in nothing. He don't believe in anything. He don't believe in no religion and all that. To hear you say that to me right now is crazy, Granddaddy.
I know.
Because
that's the truth.
We used to talk about stuff between just me and you that, will never leave. I don't care, And I have never heard you talk about that. So that right there is a whole step in itself, I know. So I'm going to talk to the pastor and see if we can work out. That's my good one for the day. So I'm grateful to my father and my grandfather for coming out.
You didn't ask him the only time that he got mad at me and was about to whip me. Ask him.
Okay, so we got one more question.
Ask him that before we go.
What was the one time my daddy was about to get a whooping from you of all people? Because you don't whoop.
Right, you're right.
So what did he do?
I stole something very valuable.
What he steal? Granddaddy, what he steal? He stole something?
Coins.
Oh, well, you ain't the only one.
His coin collection.
Granddaddy used to
I was going by
loaning me. He used to be loaning me quarters when I lived there. That was half the reason why he wrote me a letter.
No, these were worth something though. They was worth more than what I bought with them.
Jesus Christ, Jesus Crackies. Well, I mean, it's life, right?
We got through that without a whooping.
Without a whooping, y'all was able to talk about it.
Yeah, just something happened. Ain't no big deal.
Yeah, it's life, man. We learn. I probably didn't piss my daddy off so many times in this life. I can't even count no more. I just be walking on eggshells because for all the times I used to be bad. I clean it up, whatever, because I know I used to be a headache. I figure it out. You know what I mean? But it's just maturity, man. When you start growing up and you start to figure out, like he say all the time to me, keep on living, dog. Keep on living. You will learn so much more. And I think that's kind of how I am when it comes to you for sure, growing up, I used to be like, I wish he was different towards my dad because my dad treats me a certain way because he was. But once I got older, it was just like, oh, bro, you need to chill out because life will humble you very quickly. Very quickly. Once you figure out about how much relationships go into play when it comes to children and, women sometimes keeping children to get away from the guys. It's a lot that goes into play. So me personally, as your grandson, I don't hold nothing against you. I love you to death, and yeah, that's exactly what I brought you on to tell you, to give you flowers while you're alive. And for this one, the same thing. He's definitely he's a great father to look up to. He's somebody to definitely pattern, your life after. It's rough because it's huge shoes to fill. It's not like having big shoes. It's like huge shoes to fill, but the thing isn't to not fill his shoes. It's to create your own path. And that's what I feel like I'm doing and he's allowing me to do. And I'm grateful for it. He could have been, you got to be a preacher. You got to be a preacher. We seen what happened when he made me get married. It didn't go right. So I don't think I'm the person that you should be making to do stuff because it don't go right. So no, but I'm going to wrap this episode up. This is episode 20 of the Cobain Report. I'm going to get my grandfather one last time to go ahead. I'm going to get my dad one last time. And we're going to wrap this show up and wrap this season up, episode 20, you guys. Go ahead, Granddaddy. Let them know your last final words.
Well, I'm so happy for this to take place. This really, it do something to me that really makes me feel good. I mean, to see that we come together like this and, I just feel the love sitting at this table, and I'm very touched.
Yeah. Yep. And as black men, we have to love on each other, especially with the families. And just how it is. This world ain't gonna love on us, so we gotta show it to each other. You know. So go ahead, Bishop.
I just want to say, if somebody else is watching, it's never too late to come together and make amends and share your heart. We talk at each other, but we don't talk to one another. So if you're watching, this is a special moment amongst us, but you can have those special moments also. It's Father's Day edition, right? Mm-hmm. Father's Day, maybe you haven't talked to your father, maybe you need to reach out. Don't wait until it's too late. Do like we're doing. And sometimes somebody got to speak up like Greg did and say, let's do this and come together. So we appreciate you watching.
Yes, this is episode 20. Go ahead, Granddaddy.
Episode 20.
This is episode 20 of the Cobain Report, and I'm going to say it's a wrap. That's it. I know what y'all was expecting.